SMT Nation, we are back. Nation, in today's video, you're going to hear some insane, crazy things. At the end of the video, I'll explain, kind of my take and my perception on all this, but I'm just going to give you guys the news and the disclosures from AT&T. All right, so title of the article, I'll be sure to link this for you guys here. Amazon and AT&T want to end remote work. All right, so let's take a look at these details. This is crazy. AT&T CTO Jeremy Legg has informed the US-based technology employees that they won't have guaranteed seating when they return to office to work in what they're calling a 5-day office return policy, despite making in-person attendance mandatory. In a detailed memo, he went on to say, "We will not offer one-for-one seating per employee as workers transition from work to home to on-site." The new policy is going to impact about 10,000 AT&T Technology Service employees. It will start at the turn of the new year, I think January 6th, 2025. And according to Business Insiders, there's going to be a complete workspace shortage that has already been causing problems as employees have worked their way back to the office. But the situation is probably going to get worse as more people are going to be mandated to get back into the locations. In some particular locations, there are an estimated 1,200 employees with only 150 available desks for those 1,200 employees. Additionally, there's going to be several employees across I guess we'll just call it the facilities, who are going to have to work from areas like cafeterias and lounges and hallways. That's been going on, and it's expected that that's going to get worse. The return to office is, and this is kind of where my opinion, I guess, comes in, or my perspective. When these folks who decided to work from home and were employed by AT&T, when they decided to do this during the pandemic, there was always going to be a risk of them having to come back in, right? And I don't know where these folks live. I don't know if they moved far away, an hour, 2 hours. I have no idea. But if they want to work for AT&T, they're going to have to come back to the office or move closer or whatever. But there's something that needs to be said about this story. How, as a company, does AT&T think it's okay to have people coming back to the office on a mandate, but you can't accommodate them? Meaning you don't have a space for them, a workspace. You got them in the hallways, in lobbies and lounges. Like, how does that look as a company? Like, let's say you get a visit from another company, another big one, another Fortune 500, Forbes 500, S&P 500 CEO comes in and sees people sprawled out on laptops. Like, what? This is actually hilarious. How does something like this happen? How did we not foresee this happening? This reminds me of having like a bunch of kids on the floor, on a carpeted floor at a school with Chromebooks in front of them in the hallway or something. Like, I just don't get it. AT&T, this just doesn't make any sense. Well, and another question I think is, you hired all these people remotely to work remote, and now you're going to mandate them in? Like, how did you not have the space before? I don't really understand some of the logistics of this. I don't really get it. I think what's going to happen, folks, is I think some of these people are being pushed and encouraged to quit. Right? AT&T wants to probably shrink the headcount at the company. Everything that they do now seems to be all about cost cutting and cutting corners, and they probably want to see if they could somehow, some way eliminate a couple thousand jobs. They've done this in the past. This was a big thing last year. It was a big thing in 2024. They're probably going to look to continue to go in this direction, and this makes it easy when people voluntarily quit and they don't even have to pay them, right? And they've had lots of voluntary quits, even executives, like second level leadership and third level leadership, sweet people, and all the way down have been quitting, looking for different situations. Those are a little bit more accommodating. I know Amazon's doing the same thing, right? And it seems to be a way to shrink headcount. I think that's what this is all about. Make it unbearable, unenjoyable, inconvenience to come back to the office. But this is an absolutely crazy story. That is just nuts. And I've heard this. I heard this several weeks ago. I didn't want to speak on it because, I wasn't really sure of it. You always have to consider your source, and you don't want to get people exposed and all these other things. But like, this is just wild. But I'm not surprised. I wouldn't necessarily think of AT&T when I think of quality companies. That just doesn't happen. There are some quality companies out there. I don't think AT&T is one of them. And a lot of people say, "Oh, it's a business. You run a business." I don't make excuses. This is not how you run a business. But what do you guys think? Sound off in the comment section below. Go the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard. Like and share our videos. Subscribe if you're new here, and turn on the bell notifications to never miss an upload from the SMT YouTube channel. We'll see you guys in the next one.